3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Lady on the Street podcast. Did you like that one?
Yeah, I did. Woo!
We're back for another episode, and I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. So today we have a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend. It's not her first time here, but it's definitely her first time on the pod. This is a lady who is no stranger to the camera and much less a podcast. She has one of her own. And if you follow her on social, you'd see that she's fun, motivated, and obviously incredibly talented. She spends her time both behind the camera and in front of it, and wherever she is, you'll find a handful of other talented women in San Antonio because she really is a Tejana who is doing it all. Olivia with TheaZin Media is here, and y'all, shit's about to get real.
Thank you so
Welcome.
much for all the kind words.
Yeah, of course. It's true. That's
Yeah.
why. I didn't make it up.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to have you back. So tell me again, we start this episode off the same. What are we drinking?
Ooh, margaritas.
Margaritas.
The Hana Rims.
The Hana Rims Classic. And I
Tejanas.
made mine a little bit spicy. I threw in some jalapeno, but
Yes.
cheers.
Amazing, by the way.
Good, I'm glad. Yeah, I was like, do you guys want jalapenos in yours? And Gabby was like, no.
Not today, thank you.
Well, so I'm going to just jump right in. I've been biting my tongue this whole time you've been here because, to recap, the last time that you were here, Olivia, was when we filmed Gabby's episode.
Yes.
And I asked about dating then, and I'm going to ask again now. Okay? When I had Gabby here, I said, are you dating anyone? Are you dating anyone?
Yes, I am.
Okay, because I put 2 and 2 together, and that means that you and Gabby are dating, does it not? When y'all left, and I was like, I started, following more on social, your account, and I was like, oh, I totally went right over my head.
Yeah. So at the time, we were actually casually dating. Then we did a hard launch, right? Both social media girlies, and I definitely got a lot of DMs. Right, they're like, "Oh, great song choice," because I had to put that Sade, and
I love it.
It went from there. The thing is, though, me and Gabby actually started off as friends.
Yeah.
So we were already doing events together and hanging out all the time, and obviously that blossomed.
Aww.
So yeah, she officially asked me to be her girlfriend. I was like, oh, what? Like, I'm being asked? Like, love this.
Oh my God, I do love that for you.
Very different, but good different.
Yeah?
Yeah. Makes you definitely feel special. So I get it now.
Oh, yeah.
Like being on the other side.
Oh, I bet. I mean, yeah, I don't think of it. Brave and bold, and I can see exactly why you like her, but I just think it's funny that I was like, yeah, are you dating anyone? And she's like, yeah, kind of. And you're like sitting right over there. Yeah. And I was like, oh, did I just make that awkward for them? But I didn't realize until like I watched it back. So.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I was like, oh, okay.
I was like, don't make any subtle movements.
I'm not here. I'm a tree. I'm like, girl, we're inside.
It's different. It's definitely different dating somebody in the social media world, right?
Yeah.
Same thing for myself. Just like past partners. I'm sure they had to get used to being on camera and things like that as well.
Well, it seems like y'all are a really good match. And this is definitely not going to be the Olivia Gabby episode, but I have to just say, like, I think it makes, they say, I don't know who they are, but they say that, the best relationships start off as friendships. So everybody says, everybody is there, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck.
Aww,
so
thank you.
It's a good fit. I'm like, I love all of the content that y'all are creating together.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We definitely have a good time.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, all right. So aside from that, Olivia, give me your elevator pitch on your background. Who are you?
Ooh, love this. So I am very, very big on making sure that we treat everybody the right way, respectfully. I come from a corporate training and developing background. So did a lot of like work culture, positive work culture. And I wanted to be able to honestly expand, right? I think COVID changed a lot of things for people. There's a lot of turnover. And the truth that I see behind that is people started to realize they're worth more,
Mm-hmm.
not just like compensation, right? Being treated better. And there was a lot of back and forth of like how to do that properly. Companies lost money, so they're not investing in those things anymore, right? And so I decided that it just wasn't worth the stress anymore, like constantly working and really not getting like those results and like that backing from like other leadership, right?
Yeah.
And so I decided to start my own media company. I've always done photography on the side,
Mm-hmm.
and I just threw myself in full time. I got involved with a community here in San Antonio called SA Creatives, and super great. We did like meetups for free, which is a great opportunity for photographers to grow. But what I saw missing was more of a all female opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you're learning from men, and unfortunately, they like to explain things.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I did learn from some amazing men, right? But I was like, where can we meet like women who want to learn from other women? So I created TheaZin Media,
Yeah.
and that's what I currently do. And my biggest thing is trying to pay women fairly and get them in front of small businesses. So I work with small women businesses.
Yeah. I love that. Okay, let's go back before we get there. Who is little Olivia? Where are you
Yeah.
from?
Ooh.
Are you from here?
No, I'm not from San Antonio. I am pushing almost 10 years now
Nice.
being here. I'm actually from Gregory, Portland by Corpus.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so went to school in Austin. That kind of got me out of my hometown. I actually picked San Antonio after that because I found an apartment for $400.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the best rent I've ever had in my
Right.
life. Not that way anymore, right?
I know, right? Mm-mm. Can't find that anymore.
Yeah, but I moved here. I was actually working with Target at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and what was great about being in San Antonio is I was able to get promoted like every year to a higher position. So just plenty of opportunity here compared to back home.
Yeah. Crazy. So, 10 years almost here in San Antonio. Do you foresee this being like your place? Is this home for you?
Absolutely. I don't ever think about leaving.
Yeah.
Like I'm comfortable here.
Mm-hmm.
Um I left 1 year for Austin. I will
Mm-hmm.
say that. But very different, very fast-paced, again corporate world. Which was fine at that time, right? I loved doing that. But what I missed about San Antonio was a family element,
Mm-hmm.
and I was able to make a lot of really great like friendships who turned into family.
Oh,
And
I love that.
yeah, I don't want to lose that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is is your family here in San Antonio, or they're still near Corpus?
No, my family's a lot of different places. I do have some family still back home, but my parents actually travel for work. They're so cool. They
Really?
live that RV life.
Wow, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
That's cool. So it seems like the free spirit, willing to like take that leap of faith. Maybe you get some of that from your parents a little bit.
Yeah, they're extremely supportive. When I told them I wanted to, leave my job and be a full-time creative, they were like, "Yeah, do it." I was like, "I want to do it before I get older, like this opportunity. I didn't want to regret it,
Yeah.
like not taking that jump." And up until this point, they are so amazing. Like,
Amazing.
yeah.
So where are they at right now?
New York,
New
upstate New
York.
York.
Okay. When's the last time you saw them?
For Thanksgiving.
Okay, not
Hmm.
that long ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
luckily around the holidays, usually we're still able to get together.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense then. So you're really like clinging to your family that's here, that's constant, and why you love San Antonio then. And,
Hmm. Absolutely.
cool. Okay, well, good. Thanks for sharing that about yourself. We talked about it just a moment ago. You launched the TheaZin Media in what year was that?
We're actually still under a year old.
Under a year old. It's a little baby.
Yes. And it's so amazing because sometimes I do get hard on myself, right? I'm like, oh, why aren't we further? And I have to remind myself, we actually have made a lot of strides in the amount.
Yeah.
It's just, I have such high expectations.
Yeah. I feel that, but I mean, it'll move at what is it? Not a sprint, it's a marathon, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think that it just takes time. You got to really finesse it, and it seems like you're doing that. But before we even get into that, what does being a Tejana mean to you?
Ooh. I think that the best thing about Atahana is we are like go-getters, we're fighters, we're big on like representing our home, right? We love Texas and we always want to brag about it,
Mm-hmm.
and we really back that. And what I, you know, coming up with like the Hanas and Media, I wanted to be able to cover all of Texas, right? I
Mm-hmm.
love San Antonio, and I'm so glad that were able to start here, but I definitely wanted to see a bigger picture.
Yeah, that's cool. So, what did I mean, yes, we know now what Tejana means to you, but how did that name even come about? Where did you get that from?
Um, I actually, like I had mentioned, kind of, I wanted to be able to take on Texas as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went through a lot of different iterations where I was like, oh, Texas, media, or Texas women, just real like funny cliche things. I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like
Uh-huh.
we went through all the bad names, and
Yeah.
then the TheaZin Media just stuck. I wanted to be able to share that we are really big on meeting all of media needs,
Mm-hmm.
not just, one thing.
Yeah. So it is a social media agency. So what was like the first project that you took on for this?
So I started doing more community based events, and I actually reached out to a couple local, um, like food trucks, small businesses. I worked with Rose's Kitchen and Southbound Coffee. And the whole basis of my company really is growing together. So I want to be able to grow small businesses from the ground up,
Yeah.
right? Because like one day they're going to have a brick and mortar. And like I
Mm-hmm.
want to be able to like grow with them and really see that progress, because
Yeah.
I believe that everybody's going to be able to, get where they want to get. And so as I started working with them, I met more people like the thrift through. Um, and the best thing about San Antonio is community, right? So
Mm-hmm.
one door opens, they're like, hey, you should go over here, you should go over here. And then I was posting my own social media saying, like, I'm looking for women owned businesses. I
Yeah.
need everybody to sit here and like just recommend as much as they can.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love networking.
Yeah. No. Well, again, y'all are really good at you're really good at it. So photography, a lot of what you do is involves photography, right?
Hmm.
You're behind the camera, you're building these businesses up, I should say, through your agency.
Hmm.
Did you just like do that on your own? Did you have any formal training for it?
Yeah, so I was doing my own photography prior. I did traditional things, family portraits, got really into creative photography, working with like a lot of models, did like a few runways in the community, and I knew that there was something missing, or like an opportunity to grow with local small businesses. I know San Antonio has so many here,
Mm-hmm.
but the thing is, I wanted to be affordable,
Yeah.
and I knew I could offer that, which is like why we got into product photography, product content, and but I think it's more than that, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not just about like a coffee shop. Like you can also work with like women who are doing maybe like lifestyle coaching,
Mm-hmm.
podcast, right? Like you're always going to need like a headshot or like a way to like market yourself through social
Right.
media,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's not just one type of business that, we work with.
Yeah, it's really, I feel like it's more so creating a brand for businesses,
Yes.
for people, that kind of,
Absolutely.
branding. I'm gonna assume, are you a millennial?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I am too. So I think that like we're in this really lucky point in our lives where we know all of the background that goes into like social media and all of that, and then we can connect with the people who don't know. Because I feel like
Hmm.
maybe when you're Gen Z, the people who don't know how to connect with them. Do you know what I mean? We're like the middleman right
Yes, I was about
now.
to say we're the middle. So
Middle woman.
I love that. So that's the best thing, right? I have clients that are in their 40s, 50s, and they're like, "Hey, I don't know how to market. What do I do?"
Mhm.
If I haven't never had to be on social media, right?
Mhm.
And now they know that that's important to make their business survive.
Yeah.
And I think what's really cool about Gen Zers is they have that drive. They want to learn. They all want to be a social media manager or
Right.
like be in social media. They do their own blogs and things like that, or vlogging. And the cool thing about Gen Z is they know all the trends.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have interns that are Gen Z
Yeah,
actually.
because you can learn from them still as well.
Absolutely.
Isn't it weird? We're approaching the age where we're becoming like the old folk.
Now I'm like, I was working with one of my interns, and I was like, just put like a trending song. Like, I don't really know what it is. Just I was like, I put all the trust in you. Whatever you
Yeah.
think is cool, I'm gonna think it's cool.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, no, my daughter will do things. She's Gen Z, and I'm like, if I do that, it's gonna be weird. But like, go on with your bad self.
You can get away with it.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to bring up, obviously, you spend a lot of time trying to do something very special in this community where you're trying to destigmatize certain topics.
Mhm.
We're talking periods and sex.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to start with periods first. So let's talk about period palooza. Where did that come from? Tell me all about that.
So, working with Southbound, Adriana actually owns Southbound Coffee, and she would collect period products through her business for about 4 years now. And as year 5 was approaching, which was this year, she asked me if I could help her throw an event.
Mm-hmm.
And I already throw my own like networking type of events and things like that. And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. Thinking like, oh, we could just do something intimate and like gather some supplies, to donate to an organization. Well, we get together, we start thinking like, oh, we could do this and we could do that or whatever. And I was like, ooh, this project's getting big.
Yeah.
So I brought on Peyton, who owns the Thrift Through. And again, we were just like, we can do better. Like, we can do more. And so you get a bunch of women together
Yeah.
and we're going to take on the world,
Oh,
right?
for sure. Yes.
So we knew that the event was going to be called Period Palooza. That
Mm-hmm.
was the whole point.
I
That's where
love
we
it.
got the name.
Yeah.
That would be a fun spin-off of Lollapalooza.
Mm-hmm.
And we chose 4 organizations. And again, we really wanted to make it big. So we wanted to collect enough supplies to provide a whole year's worth.
Yeah.
Right. And so different organizations was actually like women's and children's homes, just like rehabilitation homes, and then a middle school.
Mm-hmm.
So we've learned a lot about the underprivileged when it comes to that. We've learned a lot of stories, but yeah, ultimately that's where it came from.
Yeah. It's crazy because periods they're such a normal thing. Like everybody literally has them or has had them. But even at like 34 years old, I still find myself when I'm like out in public or at work or whatever, hiding my tampon. Like as I go to the
Mm-hmm.
bathroom, it's so I hate that I feel that way, but like I don't understand why we attach such embarrassment
Yeah, I know what you
to
mean. When I'm grabbing one in my bag, I like shove it in my pocket real quick.
right. And I'm
Hmm.
like, people know we have periods. Like I don't know
Hmm.
why we can't just like walk with it.
Yeah, I think what we're learning through this process is a lot of it is religious stigma, unfortunately, and a lot of it's just like not being educated,
Yeah.
not talking about it. I think in school sometimes you weren't taught it, or that class is very basic, and
Yeah.
you're laughing with a bunch of your friends, and you
Mm-hmm.
don't really take it seriously.
Yeah. Or like when you're even learning about it, I remember at least for me, the big thing in school growing up is like you don't want to stain yourself, you know?
Yes.
Because then what are you going to do? People are going to see, oh, she had a period. And
Yeah.
it's like, if we were just, I guess, talk about it more with not, because I think the embarrassment comes from not necessarily girl to girls, because we understand it's the boys
No,
that we're more
yeah.
embarrassed
It's
about at that
absolutely how,
age.
yeah, it's actually exactly how the boys react because, again, they're not educated. Maybe they
Mm-hmm.
weren't raised to know you don't act that way,
Yeah.
right? But then also, I've met so many women who have had to teach their husbands or boyfriends about that, right?
Yeah.
Because they didn't know. And I've actually spoken with fathers who have said, I never wanted to be with my daughter when she started her period. I didn't want to deal with it.
Yeah, I'm like, but it's crazy. It's like you have to, you
Hmm.
know? And it's funny you mentioned that because I do remember and I'm going to get a little deeper right here. When my parents split, I was in middle school. And I remember I didn't want to come to San Antonio with my mom. I was like, I need to stay in Floresville
Hmm.
because all my friends are here, blah, blah, blah. So when I got my period, I was with my dad. And I remember calling my mom crying, like, I can't tell my dad I got my period. How am I going to, he's not going to know what to get. I don't know what to
Hmm.
get. Like, what do I do? So I do remember that moment, but it's like, men, step the fuck up, you know? Step it up.
Like, give a shit, please.
Yes, please. Just have some spare. You know what's going to happen.
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
it's,
No, absolutely.
yeah.
So it's interesting. I think, you know, our whole thing when we started was let's just collect as much products because again, people don't have access to it, but
Hmm.
it's definitely grown bigger than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gotten deeper.
That's good. Well, yes, you have gotten deeper, but it is they're also very expensive. So they're not affordable. We can talk about the tampon tax, all of that good stuff, but yeah, like even just I'm a working class family. We have what we need, but every time I go to buy those, I'm like, man, and then they market them so beautifully. So of course we want the pretty ones, and I'm like, why are we like this? But yeah, they're
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah, I think average price is about $8-10. You can get something cheaper, around 5 to 6. Again, just those knockoff brands.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to HEB because
Yeah,
their products are good for
they
the
are.
price.
Yeah.
And yes, it's definitely rough because there's many families that have to choose between that and putting food on the table.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of unfortunate stories out there coming. People have to use toilet paper, right? I've been
Yeah.
there. So
Same.
yeah,
Yeah.
I connect with that because I've lived that, and there's people who have had to use socks, and so there's just
So many,
many.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Well, and you know what I've noticed too, like over time, is even when you're out in public in a public bathroom, like they really don't have, they used to have the machines where you
Mhm.
could pay like a quarter and you would get.
Yeah.
I don't see those too often
You're
anymore.
right.
So even that access is crazy.
Yeah. I wonder why. I
I don't
mean,
know.
making money off of it, or maybe that $0.25 is not enough money anymore
Yeah,
because of pricing.
probably.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is. I don't know how often people would use them, but yeah, they used to be
Mhm.
in every bathroom, and now it's rare that I see them. Although I did see one fancy one, I think at
Mhm.
Lock and Terra. Actually, it's like
Oh, surprised it wasn't free there.
yeah, no, I know. Yeah, no, they had like a fancy like digital vending machine.
Oh.
And I only remember because my little 3-year-old was like, "What's that? I want some." I was like, "It's not gum, Harper.
No,
It's not a gumball machine."
no candy. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I think it's really cool. So you just had an event. I'm going to say recently. It was last night, but recently you had
Mhm.
an event. How did that turn out? Where was it? And how often are you doing these big events?
Yeah, so we got invited to do an event at Dos Sueños with a couple local photographers. They put on an all women's photo gallery,
Hmm.
and they teamed up with us and the Good Collective to, give back, raise funds, and proceeds for the art went to the Good Collective, and then we actually did a raffle for 3 different baskets, and then to get into the raffle, it's $5, and then you could also bring a period product in exchange for that. We also sold some of our merchandise, so that's another way we've been able to collect funds to buy more products is through merchandise, right? We have stickers, buttons, T-shirts, things like that, and it was a really amazing turnout. We have a really great community. We have a great following
Hmm.
who really believe in our project. And so, what we're trying to do is do maybe right now quarterly.
Yeah.
If we can, work with people quarterly. We've been invited to like mini markets and mini like, women empowerment events. So,
Hmm.
just trying our best. We're all we are all three small business owners.
Yeah.
So we definitely have to work around our
Yeah.
own schedule.
So then I just want to be clear. So was last night's event a TheaZin Media event or
No,
Period Palooza
no,
or
Period Palooza. We
okay,
we were
okay.
like a featured organization.
I understand.
Hmm.
Okay, I just want to make sure I had that correct. Well, that's good. And so, about how many people would you say Turned out.
Oh my
Turned up. I don't know. It's a
goodness.
different story,
Yeah.
but showed up.
Oh my goodness. It was so packed in there. I wouldn't be surprised if they hit 150, 200 attendees.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's so
It
good.
was great.
If you can tell me then, so you're collecting all of these period products to try and give to people that, really need them, don't have access to them. What is a story that you might have that you could share of like when you felt, okay, what we're doing is making an impact? Do you have something like that you can remember?
I think that it was the immediate response for people willing to help us
Mm-hmm.
was they get it.
Yeah.
And so we partnered with 20 local businesses and they helped us collect products at their locations. They also advertised it.
Mm-hmm.
They helped with marketing. Like they just backed us up completely and got like their communities involved, right? So once we started picking up those products and realizing the impact, once we started filling up bins with products, once we sat down and counted inventory and we're at 500 products and then it hits 1,000 and then
Yeah.
we actually met our goal. Well, we over met our goal, right? So the goal was 100 or sorry, enough products for a whole year. We actually doubled it for every organization.
Wow.
This is crazy.
That is amazing.
That's when it was. That's when I was like, this is it. This is what we're doing. It was the fact that people were like, no, this is a problem.
It
This,
is.
and statistically, like, we were sharing facts, and they're like, wow, yeah,
Yeah.
that was it for us.
I love it. So nobody's turning a blind eye, and you're seeing that. That's amazing. I was gonna say something and it completely just slipped my mind right now. So, oh, what I was gonna say is that like the power of networking and social media, it really does go full circle with your period Palooza events and organization.
Yeah.
And TheaZin Media, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because people are sharing this online, sharing it on social, and it's really connecting some of those dots for you.
Yeah, I think because of what I was doing with the TheaZin Media, I was able to combine the both of them and really kind of help blow it up, right? Like the message. And I knew what was working with the TheaZin Media as far as like marketing my own business, that I would take that same concept to Period Palooza.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then something I forgot to mention, we actually have a period pantry open to the public at Chief Lava's cocktail bar.
Yeah.
On the west side.
Yeah.
Which is amazing because, again, we do fill it. We do one event a year so far to fill it. But the thing is, the community is so strong that people just drop off stuff.
How sweet. Oh, that's amazing. So, yeah, I mean, obviously you see the needs there if people are having to restock it.
Oh, yeah. It's gone and then it's back. And then
Yeah.
it's just revolving.
Oh, that's so great. I'll have to, well, I mentioned I have some stuff for you because I can't obviously make it last night.
Oh. But hey, it's okay. We're always taking stuff.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I appreciate that.
Well, so that's another thing is like you don't have to necessarily show up to one of these events. How do you accept or where can people donate if they want to?
So definitely always suggest Southbound Coffee and the Thrift Through, since the girls own those businesses. So always taking donations there, but also I'm always willing to meet up.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Well, where do you see this going? I mean, what more do you want from it? Do you have a big dream for it?
Yeah, so we definitely are expanding very soon. We have had great traction when it comes to volunteers who want to do more. We actually have opportunities to add more leaders to our team, and we'll be doing that. So big announcements coming soon with that. And we want to do more big events quarterly because why not?
Right.
Because people are having fun, right? We're coming together, and I think that's going to be the bigger picture. We're already collecting for another organization at the moment, so we're making it.
Good. Well, I can't wait to see what happens with this, but I'm going to transition now.
Awesome.
To the other thing you're doing. Sexy time. Sexy time is what
I might have forgot about that. Hold on, let me just...
This is going to take a drink, right? Oh, she's getting hot. She doesn't even have a jalapeno in her margarita, guys.
I'm real bold behind a mic. In person, I get shy.
You can't be shy. You can't be shy. I feel like I know a lot about you now because I was listening. Okay, where did the idea of starting a sex podcast come from? I mean, and tell me, it's called Link Responsibly.
Yeah, so I actually revamped the podcast. I actually have the podcast about a year and a half, 2 years now. Started after COVID, and I had a great podcast host where our thing was more about relationships. I wanted to be able to talk about all types of relationships, the things that people really don't share, and I also wanted to talk about friendships, family relationships.
Yeah.
Right? Some people divorce their families.
Yeah.
And it's okay to talk about it.
It is.
We talked a lot about like therapy, mental health, things like that. Well, I decided I wanted to revamp it. I just missed opening up and sharing with people and connecting with people on a deeper level. And I knew I still had plenty to talk about. So reached out to Jasper, and he's the co-owner of Sexology Institute. And what I love about Jasper is he has that educational background when it comes to relationships and sex, and they do like therapy and classes there around all of that. And so I knew he was going to be able to bring like that different element to the podcast. And so we've teamed up. We still talk about relationships, but there's definitely more sex this time.
Yeah. Okay, so Jasper, where did you know Jasper for a long time?
I met Jasper through mutual friends.
Okay. A friend of a friend of a friend.
Yeah. I just loved his energy. We immediately clicked. We got along, and I I we were already building that relationship.
Yeah.
And I really like the fact that we didn't know too much about each other already. So
Yeah.
we're learning as we're talking. And I think
Yeah.
that's actually fresh.
I think so too, because sometimes you can feel when somebody knows somebody like super well already, then I don't know. I like to listen and watch and see that somebody's still learning, you know?
Hmm.
So, yeah, no, let's get into it. I listened to like a full 1.5 episodes last night,
Okay.
right? And it was the most recent one. It was about kinks.
Hmm. All of the kinks that you could desire.
I know, and I was like, I was listening, and I was like, okay, I can see that. And then as y'all were going on, I'm like, people want that? Like, what? But yeah, I mean, to each his own.
Yeah,
We're not here to
absolutely.
judge. We're just here to talk about
But
it.
hey, maybe you'll hear something you want to try.
I know, right?
That's the educational.
That's the educational part. So y'all really went on all in on like the yay or nay. Is this for you? Is this not for you? Right? I wanted to know just like, and I won't put you on the spot, but I know you said your
Go
parents
listen.
go listen. Yeah, you have to go listen to it because I mean, I'll just say this: I've been with my husband for a very long time, so I'll just say that I've been with him for a very long time, and we've tried a lot. That's all.
But that's great.
It's great.
As you should grow together.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the reasons why like you just got to keep it fresh.
Yes.
You got to keep it interesting, and again, you got to learn things about each other.
No,
you
that's
know?
important to me when it comes to dating, right? Like constantly being down to try new things and like we evolve as people.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and then also just being able to say like if you do like that or if you don't like that, I feel like probably, I mean, I'm not like this, he's not like this, but I think there are relationships where somebody's scared to speak up and say, "Hey,
Yeah.
you know, that this is not for me," or blah blah blah.
Communication. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, for sure. But getting back to like an episode that's about kinks where you're being so open, you're being so honest and just like sharing your personal experiences out there. Your parents are in New York, but do they listen? Do they know what's their vibe with this? I just wonder.
So the first time I did my podcast, my mom listened. She would bring things up but always in a positive way. She's super, super supportive. But my father was like, I couldn't get through the first one. I don't want to hear about your sex life, Olivia.
Olivia.
I was like, can you just press play, turn down the volume, just give me the
Just
view.
give the view. Yeah,
Yeah.
the listen. I need the credit, okay?
Yeah.
You're like, watch the TV, just have it playing. That's so funny.
But what's cool is my dad actually just started his own podcast.
What?
And yeah, so he served in the military in Germany, and he started. My dad's so cool. You know, I just want to give him credit. He has more followers than me on TikTok, and so
What?
he's
Really?
so cool. And Facebook, he's like the coolest. He's like, maybe for his generation, Facebook is still a thing, right? But he has this like army group, and it just like it's amazing interactions and things like that. So he's interviewing like vets from different wars and things like that. And so now that's kind of what we talk about podcasting. He's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
well, what do you do for yours?" And I just tried this, and I love that because now we have something to connect.
Yeah, I really love hearing
Mhm.
that. That's cool because oftentimes I do find like too when your parents get older, it's hard to find common ground with them, you know.
Yeah.
And especially if you're doing a sex podcast, and he's like, I can't listen, you know.
He's like, "Let's talk about mine."
I know. He's like, when are you gonna have me on?
Like, ooh, I'm good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no. No, well, I also learned just recently, so like this podcast, I do obviously I cuss if you're listening. Hello, I fucking cuss, right? But I just learned recently, my dad told me, I think 2 days ago, and he was like, when y'all say the F word, my sister and I don't like that, and I want y'all to stop saying the F word. And I was like, what the fuck, Dad? Like,
You're not our target audience.
I know. It's like the same thing. Just click play, turn it down,
Yeah.
and then it is what it is, you know?
Sometimes me and Jasper just like have a cuss fest and cuss fest. I love that.
I know. Start a hashtag.
Right? We're just so comfortable.
Yeah.
And I love that because we're just being real conversational.
Yeah, no, it's so true. Well, I really did like the banter you guys had and like just the discussion because he's like you're like, "Oh, I don't know." And he's like, "No, yeah, like you should try it or don't or blah,"
Mhm.
so I can tell that there is an educational aspect to it versus you guys just willy-nilly talking about your sex lives.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Jasper will like pull up that definition and
Yeah.
really get into it, or if we both, don't know what that is, or one of us has experienced it. I love that we go into detail of like what we liked or didn't like. I think that's important.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Well, I think it's incredibly brave of you, but again, it's like the whole thing with the period. If we don't talk about it, we will never learn about it. So, I think things like this, conversations, podcasts, what have you, they're so important. So,
Yeah.
like, I just want to say thanks for being
Yeah.
so open about it.
Yeah, I think it's really cool to have like different dynamics as well.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that, some people have been like, "Ooh, are you sure you want to be like that open? Like, does that affect your business or like your organization?" And I think if we continue to think that and fear that, like, you're not being genuine.
No,
Yeah.
well, and people can see through it for
Mhm.
sure. I think, like, part of that makes me feel like reality TV has kind of bolstered this need for wanting to see everything.
Mhm.
Social media, reality TV, like, people can tell when you're hiding things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they can see through it. And I know, at least from my experience, when I'm like watching something or watching somebody and I like them, but then I feel like they're hiding certain
Mhm.
aspects, I immediately am like,
Yeah.
not for me.
Yeah. One
You
thing I
know?
learned about doing social media, getting in front of the camera, was you have to be yourself and you have to be vulnerable. People love vulnerability because they can actually connect. It's like
Mhm.
they feel the same or they've had the same experiences, but it's never been said out loud, or they think they're
Right.
alone.
Yeah. And one thing that somebody, I won't say who this person is, but I hear this a lot where they say, well, we don't want to make it about us. It's not about
Mm,
us. And I'm like, it kind of is, because in order to connect with somebody, they have to know,
yeah.
like that there's somebody out there they can relate to. It's about that
Mhm.
relatability factor.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's kind of what you're bringing with the, what is it called? Link Responsibly.
Yeah.
What's with the name though?
So it's a play on words where it comes drink responsibly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
linking relationships.
Linking. Yeah. No, I love that. So relationships, the questions I want to ask, but again, I don't want to put y'all on the spot here.
Like, what do you want to talk about? Bondage?
I know, right? No, but okay, so like what has been, aside from people that are saying, "Oh, do you want to, is this going to affect your business?" What has been the response to this particular podcast?
Very, very positive. People feel like they're in the room with us. They feel like we're conversational. They want to hang out with us
Yeah.
and be able to conversate as well. People are constantly being like, "Oh, I've experienced that," or kind of they want to share their own experiences with us and connect like, "Oh, I've never done that, but yeah, I'm interested."
Yeah.
And a lot of praise, as it should be, right? That makes
Right.
us feel good. We want to
Yeah.
continue to do it and share more. And I think that bringing in our personal experience like helps us grow with our audience.
Mhm.
So they're seeing us more and more in a maybe that like friendship acquaintance
Yeah.
type of view.
Have you guys thought about bringing in like a third? Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely want to start bringing in guests. We think it would be fun. We have already like a few people in mind. So
Yeah. Or you should do, not me telling you, right, what to do. But like even if you start taking people's questions also. Do y'all
oh
do that
yes,
already?
yeah. So we do.
I imagine there would be a
Yeah,
plethora of questions coming
yeah.
in.
We do kind of like anonymous questions on our personal platforms. And what we really want to start doing is utilizing that more
Mhm.
and get really involved. We would love to do a little bit of an advice corner,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, you should do this.
You should do this. Try this next time.
Yeah.
So we talked about little Olivia a little bit, but did little Olivia ever think that you'd be doing what you're doing now?
Oh, no.
What did you want to do when you were young?
So, biggest thing was money.
Mhm.
So, grew up without money
Yeah.
and always saw my parents struggling, constantly like moving and, you know, loans, things like that, just trying to keep up with the bills.
Yeah.
Right. So, my biggest thing was trying to get the highest paying job that I could, which is why I found kind of my talent, my niche, which was like being a leader,
Yeah.
right? And really getting people to like follow me and And what I mean by that is in management, right? I
Mm-hmm.
knew that I could really get people to believe in me. And as I grew as a leader, I wanted other people to grow too, right? Because with leadership comes more money.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And when somebody would approach me and be like, "Hey, I really want to be like a supervisor. Can you help me?" Oh my gosh, mentoring was my favorite thing to do,
Yeah.
right? And getting them to the next level so they can provide for their family,
Yeah.
right? And so
Stop.
I
That's
just
really
I just love
sweet.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cuz like I'm like they can eat too, right? And
Mm.
so I wanted to make as much money. You know, you're playing with the big boys,
Yeah.
right? And you have to really show your worth. I had to learn how to properly talk amongst corporate
Yeah.
people, right? Amongst CEOs and really getting my message. And I was trained and developed myself. I've had some amazing mentors, men and women. And the same thing, they just believed in me, right? So when it came to the point where I was like, I'm doing all this, I'm passionate about this, I just knew that I could do it without the money.
Yeah.
And the same way that I was able to climb those ladders and make that money, I know I could do it on my own,
Yeah.
essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I also still believe in that community and that team, which is why I have a team now. I
Yeah.
never wanted to do it completely alone. Like, I don't believe
Right.
in that. Like, I
No.
want to train and develop and grow people.
Yeah. It's crazy that like the corporate world sometimes just offers you skills that you don't
Absolutely.
realize in the moment that you can take and use in other aspects of life, you
Hmm.
know?
I tell people that all the time, right?
Yeah.
I work with a lot of small businesses,
Mm-hmm.
and I've worked for many companies, and I see a trend in small businesses where they don't know how to properly treat their employees,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe they're too involved in the day to day, right? And my opinion is they didn't gain those skills through that corporate, they weren't trained and things like that. So I think it would be amazing, and I would love to be somebody who kind of takes over this opportunity, is providing those workshops for those small businesses,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's such an amazing opportunity to give somebody like those skills and that opportunity to really be successful.
Yeah. What a good toolkit that you have, and that the fact that you're willing to share and teach and mentor, because I feel like a lot of people don't. It's like you give your secrets away, you know,
Hmm.
but some people hold on to them and they don't want to share.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see that you're like, no, I want people to grow. I want people
Hmm.
to learn what I've learned. So,
I think it's that gatekeeping,
yeah,
right? And I think that when people do that, they feel as if they've worked so hard and they have to cherish what they have because it can be taken away. And I think, again, that comes with like that trauma, that background of maybe how they were raised and taught. But the reality of it is, there's enough to go around.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, that's perfectly, well said. But okay, so you said little Olivia was chasing the money and leadership, right? That's an interesting answer because usually people are like, I wanted to be a veterinarian. I wanted to be a doctor, you know?
I didn't care what I was.
Yeah. That's funny. My husband, I'll say, he says when people would ask him when he was little, he always just wanted to be a businessman. And
Mhm.
I'm like, what does that mean? And he's like, I don't know. I just always wanted to be a businessman. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, you're a businessman. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
You are
you are
doing
now.
it.
Yeah. I'm like, you manifested it, I guess. That's so funny. No, yeah, I think back to like I was sharing this with somebody a while back that when I was at least in high school, people would tell me like, "Oh my gosh, you just always know what to say. You always know what to write." So I was there writing love letters for like my friends' boyfriends, like, and I'm
Did you
like,
fold them
yeah, I'd
like
fold
in the
them in the
little?
little like with the little tuck. But I'd be like, "You should say this." And they'd be like, "You just write it for me." And I'm like, "But our
Yes.
writing's not the same." But okay, anyway. So I'd be there writing their love letters and telling them what the guy did wrong and why, putting the thought to paper. And so I'm like, it makes sense that I do what I do now because I just don't shut up, like I'm just always talking.
You were like the kid who like talked a lot, and your parents knew like you were gonna do
Yeah,
something.
my parents were always like, there she goes again. No, I think it's really, really good. I'm glad that you're sharing these things with me. And the rest of the world, your talents, your passion. Again, like it's just so cool that you would never think. I mean, at least I would never think that there would be somebody out there collecting these period products and it's somebody who's just so down to earth, somebody who's like you, me,
Mhm.
relatable and yeah, I just thank you. That's really
Oh,
cool.
I appreciate that.
Such a good concept.
But still, it's a team effort.
Yes. Well, yes. See? Leadership, but she won't take credit. So, no.
Right. Going back to that.
Yeah, no, it's good though. I do get that. And thank you to the other, it's two others, right? Two other partners who are making that happen. But it's really nice to see that there are people who care about others in San Antonio, and it doesn't have to be just a major organization that's doing it. It's literally grassroots. Like you guys started with just the idea, and it's building. And again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So good things will come, for sure. But okay, we're gonna go to a game, right?
Okay.
This is gonna be yay or nay because we were doing yay or nay topics on her kinks episode. Look, I like how she gets nervous.
I'm like so good at this game.
Okay, so yay or nay, but this is the Tejana edition. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so you just tell me yay or nay, and if you want to explain, you can. Okay. Yay or nay to a Tejana who does not speak Espanol.
Unfortunately, I cannot speak it as fluently. And there is definitely those insecurities at moments, right? Where you feel as if people are judging you, like, are you a real Tejana? And the way I see it is, why are you going to bring somebody down? Like, if I truly identify as a Tejana and I have, like, that background, those, like you said, like, grassroots, then, like, that's who I am.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's the story behind me not even being fluent comes from my mom. So I'll explain.
Sure, yeah.
My mom grew up only speaking Spanish. Her family was from Mexico, right? They moved here, raised all of them. My mom is 10 out of 11 children. And when she started school, they actually put her in special educational classes because she didn't speak English. And so they treated her not fairly, because she didn't know how to speak English. And her biggest thing for me was, I don't want you to ever have to go through that. Unfortunately, we live in a world right now, or an area, where you have to know English, and I never wanted you to be treated that way. And when I hit first grade, I was a slow reader. Same thing. My mom was like, we're going to get her tested. She's not going to special ed. Like, so she was definitely a fighter when it came to that. And I always, like, look back and I'm like, oh, I wish I still would have been taught or whatever, but I can't hold it against her, right? Like, that's her trauma, and she did what she had to do.
Doing what she thought was best at the time. And it was good. I mean, you know, but yeah, I feel like a lot of people are like that. I also don't speak it fluently, and I would totally claim to be a Tejana. So I think you're saying yay. Tejana who doesn't speak Espanol.
Heck yeah.
Can you understand it at least a little bit?
Yeah. I actually used to help provide for my grandpa, and we would have, full conversations with our own languages.
Yes.
And I can definitely, I could pass.
Yeah, no, I can understand it, but I cannot really speak it that well. And I wish I did, but I don't have like the same story that you had. My parents it was like a lost language, unfortunately, which I feel like is kind of worse because there's not really a specific reason why I didn't learn, but it is what it is. So yeah. Okay. A Tejana with a boy cut. So Gabby's got some beautiful red hair here. A Tejana who has a boy cut. Are you into that?
Like, do I like those type of people?
Yeah.
Or like attracted?
Attracted.
Ooh. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yay, she said. Yay. Okay.
I like all types.
It's a person.
Yeah.
Okay. A Tejana who cannot dance.
I will give Gabby the credit for making sure that I'm learning how to dance.
So you're the Tejana who can't dance.
I love dancing, but I grew up going to clubs where I was just shaking it. I was throwing my ass in a circle. I was like twerking, for twerking, I can't twerk anymore. Okay,
no?
In my car I can. I'm a great car dancer.
It's like a seat twerk, right? Where you're like, but get me up, and I'm like, I don't know what that move was.
I am a '90s R&B slow jams girly. So I love music, love dancing like that, but I don't know those, like, circle dances and cumbias and stuff. But Gabby will pull me out there.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
The good thing is you just gotta like almost if you can fake it till you make it if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
doing a cumbia. Just walk with like a little pep in your
Yeah,
step.
I just like
Just-
kind of wiggle my feet. I mean, I don't know. I'm like, you just have to pretend or like remind yourself that people really aren't watching you.
They're not.
They're
yeah.
busy dancing. They're drunk or something. They're in their own
Exactly.
world.
Exactly. They're busy. What'd you say? Throwing that ass in a circle.
Yeah, they're
okay?
throwing their asses.
They're in the circle.
Yeah.
The cumbia circle. Okay. All right. So, a Tejana who hates Mexican beer.
Oh no, I love all beers.
Is that a yay or nay
it's
for
a
you
yay.
though?
It's
A nay.
Oh, a nay.
Like, are you
because
going to be
I
judging
love
them if they?
Ooh,
That's what I mean. Yeah.
no, they can drink whatever they want to drink.
Look, you're so inclusive.
Yeah, I'm like so supportive.
I love it. That's okay. That's okay. All right. So, a Tejana who throws the deepest grito when you're out. Yay or nay? You gonna be hanging out with her?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it does,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Can you throw a grito?
No.
Have you ever tried?
No.
You've never tried? Oh my goodness, I love that. That's funny. I haven't either.
I'm like, are we about to do this?
I mean, do it. Let's see.
No,
Try. Let's
no.
see. Gabby, have you ever thrown a grito?
Yeah.
Let me hear your grito. Ooh, look at her. See, I love it so much.
That's where the right came.
Yes, I know. I turned into the drunkest Theo, let me tell you. I'm like, Priscilla, no. My name's Junior, like my uncle. My Theo Junior. Okay. Okay, a Tejana who cannot name one Spanish singer.
Oh, that's a no.
That's a no.
I mean, at least you gotta know somebody.
I mean, you gotta at least know Selena, right?
Yeah.
If
Oh
you
my
can't think of anyone
gosh.
else, there's always
Yeah.
her. Yeah.
That's
Not
my
always
home.
her. There's her.
She is her. She's the it girl.
She is, right? Okay, let's see. All right. A Tejana who hates Tejano. Do you like Tejano?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah?
Yeah, grew up with my grandpa listening to that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, me too.
I don't know all the songs, but
Yeah, no.
yeah.
But it's nostalgic.
Yes, absolutely.
It's funny. My grandpa would be like, going back to like the speaking Spanish thing. My grandpa had this orange truck with like a camper on it in the back, and we would call it the pumpkin. And when we would like misbehave or something would happen at school, and they'd be like, "We're gonna send Grandpa in his pumpkin to pick you up from school." Like, we were so embarrassed back then, you know.
Yes.
And he's gonna have his Tejano music, his conjunto music, like really loud. He's gonna embarrass you, and I'd be like, "No, don't do that." And now I'm like, ugh, I would give anything to
Yeah.
have him pull up in his orange pumpkin with his Tejano music. Like, I would go to the bar with him if that's
It would
the
be
case.
so much fun now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, perspective, right? When we're kids, we're so like, we don't know any better.
Absolutely.
All right. So, a Tejana who is not actually from Texas.
Oh, yeah, no, that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, Tejana is more of a state of being, not
Yeah.
necessarily where you're from.
I think what's cool is many people move here from other states who embrace being a Tejana.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm one now.
Yeah.
People love Texas. People are obsessed with Texas.
Yeah. Wait, so you said you're from Corpus, though. Where are you from?
Yeah. No, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've lived in Germany. That was cool.
Well, hello, you totally missed that.
My dad was in the army.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then I came back.
Yeah. Okay. So, yay to you can be a Tejana and not be from here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Inclusivity.
Yeah.
Again.
I mean, think about the people who grew up in Mexico and now they're here. They're still a Tejana.
That's very true. Yeah. Look at you. Look at you. Okay. A Tejana who doesn't know what period Palooza is.
I don't know, we're pretty popular. No, I will never be offended, but you better get ready to get educated on who we are.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me again.
Did we miss anything? Do you want to say anything else?
Oh my goodness. No.
No?
You did your research, girl.
I tried. Well, definitely don't forget. Let people know where they can find you.
Yeah, so personal Instagram is Link with Olivia. That's a play on Link Responsibly, right? My podcast. You can also follow Period Palooza, SATX, and TheaZin Media.
Perfect.
I'm everywhere.
Everywhere. Everywhere. Yeah, be sure to check her out and then obviously support if you can, make a donation, go to
Yes.
one of the events, all the things. But thank you guys so much for watching and listening. I oftentimes forget to say that. I hope you'll come again next week. It was such a pleasure having you, Olivia. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See ya. Bye.
Bye, y'all.